Yes, people, welcome back to the channel. So, government's new iPass strategy aims for bed capacity of 35,000 by 2028. So, I want you to hold on to that number. I want you to remember that number 35,000 because what that number is the quota that they will be given to the EU immigration pact. I made a separate video about this the other day, and I didn't like the term quota. I liked the term cap. This is the cap. This is the amount that we're going to take in. With a quota, you can go over a quota, which you're given brownie points for in some cases. If you go under the quota, you can be penalised for that. When it comes to what this actually means is more mass immigration into Ireland. Now, one thing that stands out to me, this term quota. So Ireland joins the EU Immigration Pact, which means they have to give the EU Immigration Pact a quota of the amount of refugees and asylum seekers that they are willing to take in. And if they meet that or surpass that, they get brownie points. If they don't take as many in, they are fined 20,000 euro for each one. If they don't join the EU Immigration Pact, I do believe, don't quote me on this, but I do believe they're still fined 20,000 euro for each one that they don't take in. So there is an incentive. It's sort of pushing Ireland into a corner to join this pact, or you'll be penalised. And even if you do join the pact, if you don't meet the quota, then you're going to be penalised for each one that you haven't allowed in. Say it's 35,000 and you only take in 30,000, well, you'll be charged 20,000 euro for each one in the 5,000 that you didn't take in. Even if it's not your fault, I believe. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that. But what this is here, 35,000 is the quota that they'll be going to the EU Immigration Pact with. But I want you to take that 35,000 and I want you to quadruple it. I want you to tenfold that. That's the number that they're telling you. That's the number that they're going to be given to the EU Immigration Pact. But that's not the actual number that they're going to be taking in. This is coming. This is a Gript Media article. Minister for actually, first off, what I'll say is, see the link in the description. That's for my live tonight at 9 p.m. Click the link in the description. That's the Varadkar Clown Show, just a bit of comedy. There's a few people coming on tonight. So hopefully they come on. If they can make it, they can make it. If not, that's fine. It'll just be me. But click the link in the description. That'll take you straight over to the premiered live. Set your reminder, smash the like button and share. And that's changed from, I normally do those in the morning time, but I'm doing them at night time now, the Thursdays one. So 9 p.m. tonight, the Varadkar Clown Show. The link is in the description and the comment section too. So let's get into this now. So Minister for Children, Equality, Disability, Integration and Youth, Roderick O'Gorman, has announced details of the government's comprehensive accommodation strategy for international protection applicants. So they're saying, well, the conditions that these international protection applicants are living in, i.e. asylum seekers, refugees, is not good enough. We're housing them in the hotels. The locals are giving off about it, so we need something set in place. But they're telling you that, but what it really means is, because they're joining the EU Immigration Pact, their standards have to be higher. They can't just put them in tents outside the immigration office. They can't just throw them into hotels. They don't actually care what you think. It's the standards that's going to be met under the EU Immigration Pact. For instance, if there is 35,000 immigrants coming in, or not legal immigrants, sorry, refugees and asylum seekers coming in, well, they're going to have to be met with a standard of care that's up with the EU. And if it's not met, then there's going to be penalties for that too. So they're not doing this because the people are saying, well, hold on, you're housing refugees like cattle in the middle of fields. They don't care about what you think. They shouldn't be there in the first place. But what they are doing is they're bowing down to their masters in Europe with this one. And that's what that is. The strategy document reveals that by 2028, government aims to have up to 35,000 beds within the iPass system, broken down as follows. Now, there's a lot of boring stuff here that I don't think you actually want to hear. It just breaks it down. For instance, accommodation offering breakdown by 2028, accommodation type, reception and integration centres and accommodation centres at national standards. So national standards, but EU standards, because they wouldn't be doing this if they weren't joining the EU Immigration Pact. They're only doing this because the EU's came in and says, well, you can't be housing people like cattle in the middle of a field and just siphoning their votes to keep the corrupt in power. So we're going to have to make sure that you're looking after them better. This probably comes after the slum city that Varadkar created in inner city Dublin, in community accommodation for vulnerable persons at national standards. So at national standards just means EU standards, because Ireland doesn't have they don't have standards of their own. They keep running to Europe with their hands out, and O'Gorman, Varadkar, Simon Harris bending over, ripping down the pants, and just saying, "Do me like a good one, because I'm so in love with you, Europe." Contingency accommodation at national standards up to 11,000. So, a breakthrough accommodation. When somebody comes in, there needs to be 11,000 available beds at all times. But this is them setting the way for the EU immigration pact. When I read this morning, I was like, it isn't a coincidence that they're bringing this out now after. Well, the EU immigration pact's been spoke about for the past couple of years. It's been talked about since 2020, but it's came into fruition now, and there's member states signing, there's people joining. Ireland's going to join. You've got Helen McEntee out here saying we need to join this. You've got other politicians saying we cannot join this because we're not going to give any quotas to these sociopaths in Europe that are basically promoting war all around Europe and promoting war all around the world, that's creating refugees, that's filling up little countries like Ireland. And this is what it is. This is them giving the quota, but I need to stress this: it won't be 35,000. Think more along the lines of 200,000. They're saying 35,000, but it's a quota. So if they surpass that, they get brownie points. You need to know that. And this is a short video for you today. I wanted to react to this here. I want you to know about this, and I want you to know about this in depth and simplified, because that's the way I see this. There's going to be a lot of people that read this and see other things, and they're going to have other opinions. I just like to see things for how they are. The government never works on the little technicalities. By 2028, will there be 35,000 more refugees or asylum seekers in Ireland? There's going to be more. There's going to be 100,000 more. This is them coming out now. So, for instance, they can take this article, they can print this out, they can go to the EU Immigration Pact and say, there's our quota, 35,000. And the EU Immigration Pact will say, well, you have to meet that now, or more. It's not a cap. People are talking about the quota as if it's a cap. It's not a cap. They can surpass that by many thousands. It's just a quota. They have to take in 35,000 at least. And if they don't, I think there's going to be, you can be penalised for that. And you're penalised 20,000 for each one that you don't take in. And it's not each one that you don't refuse. That you refuse. For instance, if you get, as I said, if there's 35,000 you're supposed to take in, you only take in 30, then you're going to, for each one that you don't take in, then you're going to be charged €20,000. So once again, Europe backing countries into a corner. The EU, these sociopaths. I really need to stress this. It's not beneficial for Ireland to be involved with these people. Right now, I don't see what benefit we're getting from these people. Obviously, yes, you can learn from Brexit, and you can see the Irish Sea border. You can see the Unionists up in Fleur about goods being checked. They don't want that because they're a part of Britain. And they see that as a border, and Northern Ireland needs to be a part of Britain, and there should be no borders. But they voted for it. But a similar thing would happen with Ireland, where there's going to be higher checks and things like that. But for the sake of this country, for the sake of this, I call it the silent invasion. It's not too silent anymore because people are speaking about it. For the sake of our country, Ireland needs to leave Europe. It just has no benefit being in Europe. They're centralising control of the food. Ireland's importing potatoes. What? Do you know what I mean? I seen a pack of potatoes the other day that came from Spain, and I was like, what's happening here? What's going on? There's no benefit. And that's just a short one for you today, guys. Make sure you join me tonight, 9 p.m. for the Varadkar Clown Show live. The link is in the description. Head over now, set your reminders. Links in the description and the comment section. Share that. Share. And remember, thanks for tuning in. Smash the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And thanks to everybody that's bought me a coffee. I appreciate that there. I'll be calling out. Somebody's bought me 3 coffees there this morning, and I will be thanking that person tonight live at 9 p.m. So I'll see you tonight. Peace.